Okay, great. Welcome everybody to this webinar that you just saw a brief introduction from Università Cattolica del Sacro Cuore. Now, to pronounce that even better, we have luckily two presenters that do that better than me. But I'm just here to introduce you a little bit of the interactive options that we have for you today. My name is Luc Milling, and so we have some options for you to join in. You can first of all tell us where you're logging in from through the chat at the right bottom. There you can just let us know a little bit more, where you're logging in from. It's nice for the speakers to see who is all there. But more importantly, maybe is the tab called questions next to it. That's where you can write your questions at any time. We will be answering them at the end, but you can, whenever you have one and you don't want to forget, please let us know. And also for people that may watch the recording, you can also still write any questions because we can send them through to the staff of the university. I will also be opening up some polling questions. Actually, I think I already did. Yeah, there's one already. So we'd like to know a little bit more about you. For example, what is the most important thing you found in selecting a university program? So let us know. And thanks already for some of the people who did. And last but not least, we have a little fun button as well at the bottom of the screen. You see a button called React. And there you can click on, that's the one. Exactly. So that's just to make it more fun and interactive for the speakers, especially. And having said so, speakers, we will go over to them. I'll pass it over to Julia. She will introduce herself and the professor as well. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Luke. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining. So I am Giulia. I am from Università Cattolica del Sacro Cuore. I'm part of the international marketing and recruitment team. So I am one of those people you could meet over to fairs, promotional, webinars and stuff like that, because that's what I do for a job. And I have Francesco with me. So Francesco Calderoni is the professor, one of the professors of the criminology program. We're going to go over an interview, and which I hope will be very explanatory of what the program is. And actually, look, if you may, I also have the agenda for today, if you want. Thank you very much. I didn't see it. I had it like on the bottom left. So, okay. So, what we be doing today is we will go through the introduction of Università Cattolica. I will explain a little bit more of who we are, because some people may know us already, some people may not. And the program presentation, a very short one, because I will then leave the stage to Professor Calderoni, who is the program coordinator, as I mentioned. And we will go through some questions that you might be finding interesting. We are also going through the admission criteria and the application process. So don't worry, we have covered, and we will be covering some of the questions that I already have seen popping up on the bottom right. And we will also have a live Q&A session and some closing remarks. So this is the agenda for today. And so I'll say, I think before everything, can Professor Calderoni, do you want to say hi as well?
Yes, thank you, Julia. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Very happy to see that many people registered and many people are attending. So very excited to share with you some insights about our upcoming program in criminology.
Okay, so back to us. So first of all, as I said, an introduction to what we are. We are Università Cattolica del Sacro Cuore. Luke did an amazing job pronouncing this one. It is very hard for Italians as well. who are we? We are a large non-state university, meaning private, the largest in Europe, actually, and a recognized and fully accredited research university, meaning that we do a lot of research as well. So we have 5 different campuses. As I said, we are big. 5 different campuses, mainly in the north of Italy, but we also have a campus in Rome, which is in the center south of Italy as well. 12 different schools, meaning that we go from agribusiness to management, going through psychology, humanities. So there's a lot of subjects that you may want to you may study while you come to our university, actually, to start your career, university career. We also have more than, actually, I think it's more now, but more than 4,800 international students, and more than 40,000 students overall. So, of course, these numbers may vary year to year. It is just to give you an idea of how big we are. We also have a lot of English-taught graduate and undergraduate programs. That's I think that explains the large amount of international students that come across our university every year, and 200 Italian-taught programs, undergraduate and graduate programs. So very interesting. A little more about our students and how many we have had since establishment. I think this is a very impressive number. It is outstanding, and it gives a lot of information on how many students chose us and how many will still choose us. Since establishment in 1921, we have had more than 200,000 graduates. It's difficult to even say this number. 49,000 international students in our last 30 years of activity, and 30% of graduates in the last 4 years who have had a study or work abroad experience. So big university with a lot of international students, as I already mentioned. You can see that a lot of our students have graduated from the School of Economics, Law, and Political Social Sciences. And actually, the criminology program that we're talking about right now is one of them, Political Social Sciences. But we also have a lot of students who graduated in humanities, and that's another, I think, facet of what the criminology program is going to have as part of their courses. We also have medicine, surgery, and we also have agricultural and food economics, mathematical, scientific sciences to complete our offer. So why should you choose Cattolica among all the universities in Italy? Well, we are a private institution, so that means we have a lot of funding, actually. So we can do research, we can do innovation more than, I don't know, public schools, I would say. We are deeply connected to the job market since we are private, so we have better connections with the industry professionals. We rely on a local campus strategy. So that means that while we want to be global, we also connect directly with the territory in which we operate, so that we give you the most, I would say, important skills to thrive in the territory and in the area where you are studying, and abroad as well. We also have a lot of academic research, as I mentioned before, so that makes it a very excellent school. So we have a strong academic profile. I'm going to show you the rankings in a second. And we also have a strong sense of community, strong recognition of individuals. We welcome our students from anywhere in the world with student support services, with the International Student Office, and we also give you very many possibilities to study abroad, to go abroad, to deepen your understanding of the project, of the classes that you're taking. So that's I think one of the main reasons why you should choose Cattolica, because you can personalize your path a lot. As I said, quick overview of the rankings, but it gets boring after a while. So I'm just gonna show that we are in the top 450 according to the World University Rankings by QS 2025, in the top 350 for the Times Higher Education institution. The ones that you see with an asterisk in this diagram are the ones that we also have recognized as top 5 in Italy. You can see all of our schools here. So you see a lot of them are recognized as top 5 in Italy as well, meaning that we have a global reach, but we also have a really local connection to the companies, the areas, and the Italian system. Okay. We are also top 5 in Italy in employer reputation, according to the QS World University Rankings. These are just some numbers and some companies that we work for, and that demonstrates on how we also provide advice, and we also provide with very good opportunities even after you graduate with us. I think I am over the general presentation of Cattolica, and we can go deeper into the program itself, criminology. I'm gonna go over these 3 little things before we start the real, interview with Professor Calderoni. First of all, as you may know, this is a Bachelor of Science degree taught in English. So it's 3 years, because in Italy we have 3 years bachelor's degrees, and then we have 2 years master's degrees, usually after you graduate. It is taught in Milan, and it is laurea triennale in sociologia, meaning sociology. So as we said, there is a lot of humanities in this course, but there is political science as well. And so we are going to go over what this course really means. I would say the facts that we have to keep in mind while we go through it is that the program combines sociology, psychology, law, political science, focusing on crime prevention, security, and criminal justice. And one thing that we really like to underline every time we promote this kind of program is that it is backed by Transcrime, an institution which Professor Calderoni will talk about in a little bit, and it is a criminological research center. So having said that, I am going through the next slide, which is the interview. What are we doing in the interview? We're going to go over the motivation behind the program. So why Professor Calderoni and his crew decided that it was worth it to start a program in criminology, the distinctive features, the ideal student profile. So what do they look for in students when they evaluate your application? What the program structure is, the global focus of the program, and the future career and study opportunities. So I think it will answer 3/4, 75% of your questions. But if you have other questions, just keep them, because we are going to answer to them later on. So, Professor, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Perfect. So let's start with the first question. What inspired the creation of this criminology program? What went into your mind?
Well, thank you. So criminology is my discipline, and I've been teaching and coordinating a master and a PhD at Università Cattolica in the last 10 years. So let's say that an undergraduate program was just maybe the natural development of this experience. At the same time, I'm very proud that we are basically probably the first undergraduate program in criminology entirely in English in continental Europe, because criminology has a great tradition in English-speaking countries like the United Kingdom, Ireland, or the United States, Australia. At the same time, we felt that these countries have very specific peculiarities. So they are what we normally call common law countries. So the criminal justice system has very specific features. So we felt that opening an undergraduate program in criminology in continental Europe would be an opportunity, not only because of the geographical location. We are in Milan. I think Italy is very attractive, and I hope many people will love to study and spend time in Milan and Italy. But at the same time, because I think that criminology can have a different perspective. So take upon the issues of crime and justice from a more continental perspective. And by continental, I just give you an example. Many people are fond of watching shows and movies, crime, thriller, detective stories. And most of them, when they come from the UK or the US, you normally see very specific features. So law enforcement agencies are normally very local, like the police department of New York City Police Department, or Los Angeles Sheriff Department. And when you have multiple police agencies like the FBI or the Metropolitan Police in London, well, this is something that most countries in the world do not have. Most countries in the world are just like Italy and France or Spain. They have one national police force. Like in Italy, many people know, we have the Polizia di Stato and the Carabinieri. And that's the same experience of most continental countries, most Latin American countries, most Asian countries have one police force. Now, there is a huge difference between having one national police force and having multiple local police forces. And these are the issues that very often are overlooked when studying criminology. And at the same time, I think they have a big impact for people willing to have a career in criminology, because of course, the kind of force you apply to is very different, and the kind of career path and entry requirements are different.
Thank you very much. We all love a real good crime scene see on the movies, but it's interesting to even hear about this, because I never reflected on this topic. I've never thought about it. So thank you very much for this first answer. And so you would say that you also carefully studied what the offering abroad was, I guess. What distinguishes this program from, I don't know, a program in criminology in the UK?
Right. Yes, of course, we did study, and I know the work of my colleagues in the UK, in the US, in Canada, and many other countries. So I have I think, a pretty clear idea of what are the advantages and disadvantages of undergraduate program there. And certainly colleagues abroad are very competent, and you can have a top-notch education there. At the same time, from my perspective, one thing that I thought we could improve and do better is to provide a broader education, especially on the undergraduate level. Let me be clear what I mean. Very often the offers undergraduate programs in English-speaking countries, maybe because of cultural features of the education system there, they start very straight away into criminology training. So they will give you training in criminological theories, criminological methods, crime and justice, and many things like that. Of course, these are appealing topics for students, and I understand they attract a lot of attention, but then I don't think you have a broad enough training and education to understand the challenges and the complexities of the careers further ahead. Criminology especially is very often referred to as a multidisciplinary or interdisciplinary field, where you need, and you do need actually to learn properly basic criminological things. You need to have a background in law, in the social sciences, in economics, and also statistics. So this is something that we really wanted to develop differently from other competitors, let's say, or offers in the more traditionally Anglo-Saxon countries, which have a strong offer in criminology. And I think this is something very positive, because it matches very well with the characteristics of Italian education system, university education system, which is indeed designed to offer a very broad training, at least at the undergraduate level. And if you have a look at the program and the study course in our undergraduate program in criminology, you will see that, for example, the first year is basically foundations. So foundations in sociology, foundations in economics, foundation in methodology of research, foundations in political science and history, and so on. So I think this is important, because especially in a fast-changing world, it's important to have a broad base of knowledge to build upon.
Let me just also add a little thing, which is a recruiter perspective on this. If you start at a bachelor level and you start broad, you have more possibilities to understand what you actually like, which is really difficult, especially when you start university at like 17, 18, 20 years old. It's very, very difficult to know what you like without trying it. I think one of the main advantages, I would say, of the Italian education system is that it lets you, kind of pick up what you want and what you don't want. But before that, it offers a broad education so that you can understand what you like and what you do not like. So absolutely. Thank you very much. Let's go to the target audience and see what the ideal student profile would be in, the ideal student to apply for your course and start your course. What qualities, what interests, what background is ideal for students considering applying to criminology?
Well, thank you. Well, this is the first year we launched this program, so at the moment I have still like a ideal probably conception and lots of question marks in my head about how this will develop. But if I had to just speak up my thoughts, I think curiosity and an approach which is multidisciplinary mindset, meaning that exactly connected to what we were saying before, since our program provides a very heterogeneous and various broad training, especially at the beginning. I think the students who are curious and interested in different topics and different perspectives to the issues of crime and justice from the sociological, legal, economic, psychological perspectives are certainly the kind of students we are most looking for. At the same time, let me be very clear. I think in the future, especially given the developments in artificial intelligence and technology generally, it's impossible to avoid a strong training in data analysis and data management. Therefore, I think also students who have a propensity or an interest for these fields, so data analysis, data visualization, data management and coding, it's very important, because these skills will increasingly become common, both in the sense of career patterns, but also what employers will expect, and therefore it's important to be ready. So I very often, based on my experience with Italian students, sorry to say, very often there's a certain share of the student population who said, "Oh, numbers, I don't understand them, I'm a little bit scared of them." Okay, turn around. If this is your case, turn around, because that's I don't think it's possible to say that anymore. And at the same time, I think it's a great opportunity. It's a great time to study statistics and mathematics, because of the support and availability of resources that back in the days when I started were not there. Nowadays, these instruments make it easier generally to do statistics, to do properly statistics, to have fun with statistics, to understand things.
Thank you very much. Well, my personal experience is I did not understand math as a high school student, but when I started university, I understood it. And that's because it was finally applied to something that I kind of liked. So you don't have to be scared of numbers per se. I think it becomes easier when the thing that you're studying matches with what you like. So maths maybe is difficult, but statistics, I mean, I loved it. I really loved it. So thank you very much again. And let's go to the program structure. I think that students would like to hear more about an overview of the core courses, and if there is any particularly surprising subject, one that you would think, oh, why would you study that in criminology, in a criminology course?
Well, certainly. At the same time, asking what is surprising to a professor who starts to be not a young professor, probably a senior professor, it's complicated because I don't know what's surprising here. So, jokes apart, the idea is we designed this program with a clear progression in mind. So the first year is really foundation in the social sciences more broadly. So you will have contemporary history, principle of economics, sociology, political science, quantitative methods broadly. And then in the second year, we start to introduce the foundations of criminology. So criminological theories, and then methodology of criminological research, social psychology, history of crime and crime control, European and comparative criminal law and criminal procedure. So the basics. Really the basics. We need to understand how the criminal law functions. You need to understand how the criminal justice system evolved in history. You need to know what are the main theoretical understanding of crime and illegal behavior in the social sciences. And then with the third year, we finally get to more, let's say, relatively advanced criminological courses, more specific. We plan throughout the existence of this undergraduate program to activate new courses, for example, on organized crime, on terrorism, on cybercrime, on economic crime and money laundering, and on forensics investigations and crime lab research. This, of course, will depend. It's 3 years from now, so honestly, who knows what will be the conditions then. One thing that we really invested on, and I want to reiterate this, I have already mentioned, but we also designed this course with a very strong, I would say, quantitative element. So the training we will provide will not only be theoretical or broad with foundations in the social sciences, but also we will insist a lot in, let's say, problem solving, critical capacity, and addressing research problems with empirical approach, meaning that students will have to be able to identify issues, societal issues and research gaps, then develop research objectives, then identify which is the best method to address these objectives, and then deploy these methods, apply these methods. It could be interviews, could be data analysis, could be different types of research. And we will train students for doing this. So we will teach them to use software, and the plan also is very ambitious to launch some coding seminars during the third year. We still have to decide whether we will do R or Python. It depends on, it depends also on the developments, because 3 years ago we didn't have ChatGPT. Today we have ChatGPT, and of course we expect this to become much more ingrained in everyday's life. So who knows? We'll see. Certainly, we want to provide students also with some hands-on experience in programming, because, again, I say this is something that is going to be here to stay and will be part of any core training, I think, in the future.
Thank you very much for the explanation. I would be personally, if it were me, I would be really interested in the economic crimes and money laundering, because I studied economics, so it would be very interesting for me anyways. So could you explain how the partnership and the backing of Transcrime helps this program be more on point and different from others?
Well, yes, of course, with pleasure. I decided, being professor, I'm also a researcher, a senior researcher here at Transcrime. The environment around me is Transcrime, which is the Joint Research Center on Innovation and Crime. So Transcrime, please, maybe I can put it in the chat, transcrime.it. Have a look at our website. It's a relatively, I would say, very large research center in criminology. I'm probably among the largest in Europe and worldwide. And we are about 30 people working on researching on crime, doing empirical research on complex crime and innovation. So the idea, the center has recently celebrated like 30 years of existence, which for academic standards, it's a lot. And of course, a lot has changed since I have joined Transcrime back in 2005. But Transcrime has a very strong reputation at the European Union level. We, in any moment, we are running something like between 10 and 20 European project or international research project. And staff like me or other colleagues we are normally coordinating this project. And I think this is important because the experience and the support, the Transcrime is an environment, it's a network of criminological research which is renowned worldwide. So it gave us teachers, professors, the experience at the international level, gave us opportunities to publish research on top international journals, attracted researchers from abroad who are coming here as junior or senior researchers, and then eventually create a very positive exchange. At the same time, Transcrime has developed a strong experience in supporting teaching and academic programs in the Università Cattolica, because it already supports the master program, which is called Crime and Security Analysis. We have a master which is half in English, and also the international PhD in criminology. So already Transcrime knows that, for example, provides communication to students, organize seminars and webinars for students of the master course, or arranges opportunities of internship for master students and so on. Now, of course, we are aware that an undergraduate program has different requirements and different elements, but I would say that the fact that most students, most professors will be born and raised, so to say, in Transcrime, it's a guarantee that we will be able to support our undergraduate program most appropriately.
Thank you very much. And actually, you anticipated one of my questions and one of the topics we're gonna go over with the post-graduation careers and what happens after you graduate. As I was gonna ask what career paths are available to graduates on a level, on a master's level, or as a job. I would say you can of course continue and study, or you can go ahead and start looking for a job. And the second part of this question is, what roles do you think are currently in high demand within the criminology sector, and if the students can actually think of becoming one of those roles or applying to one of those roles as they finish this undergraduate degree?
Wow, it's a lot. So let's try step by step. So first, of course, being an undergraduate program, a certain share of the students or the graduates of our undergraduate program will certainly go on studying for a number of reasons, and not necessarily at Università Cattolica. There are many opportunities around, and I understand that also people, maybe especially those who are choosing to study abroad at the undergraduate level, then they would like to pick another countries and make experience. So it's perfectly fine, and we are also happy to be part of this international network building for our students. At the same time, as I mentioned before, we do have a postgraduate and PhD offer at Università Cattolica, and honestly, I must be very honest, I think they are very good programs. So we have the Crime Sec, which is a 2-year Master of Science, which is partly in English, has been in English, partly in English, like 40% of it has been in English for the last something like 15 years. So we also have an experience of teaching in English, because I teach 2 courses there in English, just to give you an idea. And it's a very good master. It's a smaller master. We normally have 30, 40 students. And basically our students find the job before graduating. All of them, they are actually stolen by companies and the mostly private sector. And then also we have a PhD in criminology. Also I coordinate also that one. I mean, honestly, I start to be very tired of coordinating all these programs, but that's also very rewarding, to be very honest. PhD candidates in criminology. So the PhD in criminology is a 3-year program according to the Italian PhD law. It's the only PhD in criminology in Italy, which I'm very proud of, but at the same time, it's entirely in English. We are talking about a very small and very selected program. We normally have between 2 and 4 students per year. And it's a very hands-on training. The students of our PhD, they work with us. They work, I mean, I'm not pointing people, but behind me, there are a few of our PhD candidates. They work with us. We work on a, say, same basis. We collaborate together. We train them really on the job, because something that people maybe don't understand, and it's very useful to share maybe with people who are like high school students, is that being a researcher, being a professor is also a job, and you need to train, you need to learn this job. I mean, it's not something that, you know, we just do a degree and then another degree and then a PhD and then suddenly we become professors, of course. And the researcher and professors are indeed quite challenging jobs these days. So that's what we try to do with PhDs. We train researchers and academics at the top level, because honestly, some of our graduates, very few graduates now, are professors in the United Kingdom, in the Netherlands, and many other countries. So we're very proud of the kind of training we offer. But then, of course, I also understand that many people, and increasingly in the job market, at least in Italy, already with an undergraduate degree, people normally maybe take a pause, take a break. They work for a couple of years, then they move. I don't know. And I think there's a strong demand in the job markets throughout Europe, because I've been talking to people, I've been checking with people, and I think the developments that you mentioned that I see very relevant, I would say, are mostly in the private sector. Also because, guys, I cannot promise that you will become a police force in so many countries. I checked the chat, and there are so many people coming from different countries, and every country has its own regulation for recruiting police forces. Like in Italy, you need to be an Italian citizen, for example. Period. Also because the selection is in Italian, so unless you're, you know, but I know that other countries have different legislation. So I'm not commenting on that, because honestly, I don't know the details. But on the private sector, on the contrary, I see many common developments throughout the continent and also beyond. And I think the private sector is booming. People with skills in crime prevention and security management in the private sector are on high demand. This goes from the retail sector, so your favorite shop, your whatever, from supermarkets to makeup or clothes, like they look for staff to manage the security systems, so to control, to protect the property and the shops from pickpocketing or for more structured kind of frauds, and to control the supply chain of the entire business. And then at the same time, there's in the banking and financial industry in general, they have an increasing demand for compliance. So increasingly legislation demand so banking and financial institutions to check the kind of businesses they interact with. So the bank must be aware whether they are making business with somebody who is laundering money, who is getting money from corruption, who is maybe funding terrorism. Well, this has expanded the so-called compliance function within the financial industry. So people that within, for example, a bank, check whether a certain client of the bank might be a terrorist, might be laundering money, might be doing tax avoidance or tax evasion, and they need to, flag this risk, identify this risk, and eventually take action, and eventually inform the police that something unclear is going on. So this is another booming factor, a booming sector. And the last one, then I stop, because as professors often do, I talk too much. The cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is another booming sector, of course. And I think based on our experience with our master students very often go in the cybersecurity sector because of a funny thing. They're not lawyers and they're not engineers. Why I say that? And they are able to have lawyers and engineers communicate. It's something that not many people have. Because, cybersecurity means compliance with data protection, ethics, with the legislation, of course. And this is the business of the lawyers, of course. problems. At the same time, cybersecurity is making sure the network and the systems, the IT infrastructure of a company, of a business, of an institution is protected. And this is normally the business of the engineers. But the funny thing is that engineers and lawyers, they don't get along very well. They don't interact very well. And our students actually are able, the multidisciplinary approach that we at Transcrime we promote is indeed able to have a background in law, a background maybe in system technology and infrastructure or cybersecurity training that allows our graduates to be the brokers between two different parts of a system, of an institution.
I see a lot of requests from consulting companies. I see B.Sc calling you. Hey, I need someone who wants to make people talk.
they do a lot. Well, I have from B.Sc, for example, I had a former student of mine, very friend of that he went to B.Sc, but also the four sisters, you know, Deloitte, PricewaterhouseCoopers, KPMG.
Yeah.
And Ernst & Young, we have, I don't know how many dozens of students working there now.
Of course, because one of the main tasks of these people is to let people communicate to each other, people who don't usually know how to communicate between each other. Okay, do we have time for one last question, Luke? I think so, if I may.
Yep.
Okay, nice. So, Professor, how do you anticipate the field of criminology evolving in this future years, and what innovations, what trends do you see influencing the field?
Well, very quickly, because some of these I think I've already mentioned. I think the big change that is the big change for any, I would say, for any field currently is the developments in the technology and especially artificial intelligence or quantitative analysis in general. So again, the discipline is going to change and it will become necessary, I would say, to have a different set of skills. So of course, theoretical understanding, a broad training will be essential, but at the same time will be essential to have a very core and strong basis in data analysis, data management, not necessarily to perform these analyses, but to be able to interpret analysis and data properly, because this will become more easy for anyone to create this analysis, to do data analysis, and therefore students and graduates will be necessarily called to interpret this information and provide feedback or insights into data. So I think this will open the way for more complex, wide-ranging analysis, will create new kind of research, also more qualitative type of research where you did interviews, you know, or you did participant observation and you spend some time, for example, with people or delinquents or gangs and so on, will be facilitated by these new technological tools, I'm sure. So therefore, it will be in a hybrid situation. And this is something we try to intercept with this idea of a very strong training in data analysis and data gathering in criminology. So at the same time, I think these complexities that criminology is facing will become more, let's say, will be less and less an issue exclusively of the criminal justice system. So the issue of crime and preventing and dealing with crime and illegal behavior is not already, but it will less and less be something that, it's the police job or it's the criminal court's job to deal with this. But it will be increasingly necessary to develop partnership between the official criminal justice system and private and public other institutions, meaning municipalities, meaning companies, meaning universities. And this requires a capacity to deal with complex problems. So problem solving. Students and graduates in criminology will increasingly need the capacity to address and face new problems. So have the tools, not necessarily to have the answers, but have the tools to achieve the answers. And my personal largest, biggest ambition is to provide students with these tools. So it's funny because it's rather than knowledge or notions or solutions, I think we should provide students with instruments and doubts and tools.
Thank you very much. It is inspiring to hear professors talk about their subjects because they see, like, you see the passion behind it. So thank you very much. I think we're done with the interview, and I'm going to go over really quickly because I want to give space to the questions as well. But I want to go quickly through the entry requirements and the tuition fees and financial issues about this course. So the entry requirements are on the website as well, so you can look for them specifically case by case. But general entry requirements would be 12 years of global schooling, so you count from the first year of elementary school to the last year of high school. And if you don't have 12, you might be asked to take a foundation year or present us with a certificate from a university that you have attended for at least 1 year. Language proficiency, we have, of course, because the English is very important because the course itself is all taught in English. So a B2 language proficiency is essential. You can see what certificates we accept in the website as well. And we also, as a general entry requirement, we look at your high school grades, motivation letter, and general background. So those are the things they will look at to let you in the course. You can apply online. Applications are open. The first round of applications will close on the 26th of February, and the second and last round of application deadline is the 7th of May. If you are from a non-EU country, please apply earlier because of the visa. So if you have to get a visa, we suggest applying earlier, and also we suggest applying earlier in general because, of course, you can plan in advance when you have to move to another country. It's easier for you if you know beforehand. The QR code you can scan and it will bring you to the application portal directly. What the tuition fees are, really quickly, it depends on your income and where your fiscal residency is. That is where you pay taxes. So basically, if you are a resident in Italy, where you can pay from 3,800 to 11,500, which means that this varies according to your income, your parents' income usually. If you're from a EU country, if your residency is in an EU country and you pay taxes in the EU, it will be 6,360. For non-EU residents instead, it's going to be 8,500, with the UCSC International Scholarship reducing usually the yearly tuition fee to 5,600. For all the scholarships, you have to refer to EDUCAT, unless it is the UCSC International Scholarship, which you can ask directly when you apply. You tick the box asking to be evaluated for the UCSC International Scholarship. If you are from a non-EU country and you pay taxes in a non-EU country, you will be advised on how to proceed. For the rest of the scholarships, we do provide financial aid and opportunities to have a low price accommodation and stuff through EDUCAT. So we suggest you look at the educat.eu website to know more about it. So that would be it. This again is the QR code to access our application platform. The one before, I think, it would direct you to the entry requirements section. Actually, I did say something wrong before. Let's go to the sorry. I had forgotten that if you are not sure what to do and you're not sure if you want to apply to criminology, but you're looking at Università Cattolica in a broader sense, we also have 8 other undergraduate degrees to choose from, and we also have medicine and surgery. But usually I don't go in depth. I just remind you that we also have other courses. So go ahead and look at our website. There's a lot to choose from. And if you want advice, absolutely reach out to us, the International Marketing and Recruitment. We will do our best to help you understand what you want to do and advise you on what you should be doing in the next years of your life. Q&A. Okay. Luke, can I ask your help?
Yes, that's where I come back in. And first of all, thanks already. I think some of the questions might have already been answered, but we'll go over through them, and let's see if we can still answer some in more clarity. First of all, Suramshmi, if I say that right, asked about financial requirements for international students. Can you elaborate a bit on that?
Yeah, as I said, it depends on where you come from. Usually, when you require a visa, they would also ask you to provide a financial situation, your financial situation, but that it's not something that we ask. It's something that the embassy and the consulate usually ask in order for them to issue the visa. For what regards tuition fees and scholarships, I think I have already mentioned them. So it varies, and we do also have some scholarships available through Educat. So I don't know if I have answered your questions already. If not, we are going to show the international.inquiry@unicat.co email, which is the email where everything can be asked. Basically, there's no wrong question in this case. So.
Okay.
Please.
You might want to put the email in the chat if you
I think I have it in the last slide.
On a slide.
I have it in the last slide.
Then
this one.
I'll show it right here, just to make sure. I also can mention, by the way, under apps at the bottom, you find in the handout section, you find the link to the admission page. So I put it there as well. So click on that, and then it opens, and you can, at your own pace after the webinar, look it all through. Let's go over to the next question we have. So let's see. There is a question from Sasho. What are the opportunities for work with this bachelor degree? I think it was mentioned also, but is there anything you want to add to that?
I would let Professor Calderoni answer this.
Thank you. It really depends. I mean, if you're looking for a career in law enforcement, I think the best way to look for a career, of course, come to Milan, but at the same time check the kind of law enforcement agency you're interested in, because it varies substantially. The educational and other requirements for entry into the police forces vary. So first check, and then if a bachelor degree is necessary or preferential, then of course we will welcome you. But then I would say, I stress again that the booming or the largest part of the demand in the criminological sector is currently in the private sector. And there are very rewarding and interesting career developments in the private sector, as I mentioned, compliance, security management, cybersecurity, analysts, audit. So these are very specific fields. I think at the same time they're very promising, and will, to me, they seem very safe kind of careers. They don't look to be substantially affected or reduced or compressed by the technological developments that we are seeing around. At the same time, if your dream is being a profiler, which is a standard first thing that let's say bachelor students in Italy tell me, go to the next program. There is nothing. First of all, because there's jobs, profiler jobs are probably a handful across Europe. So it won't be you, sorry to say. And secondly, because certainly it is not a bachelor in sociology and criminology that will train you to do a profile, to be a profiler.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for that answer. Irene has a question. Can you explain more about the methods of teaching? Is it theory-based or more with practical cases?
Well, this is every professor will have his own teaching. I mean, it's not something that we are able to impose or predetermine. At the same time, Irene, we consider that we are launching this program, so it will be a new, and all the courses will be brand new. That's true that the first year program will have some broad courses, and we do have extensive experience. Colleagues who will teach like sociology or economics or political science have already taught these courses in the last years. But I think based on our experience in Università Cattolica, I think there's a very good blend of theoretical courses and applied courses. For example, the ones I mentioned, I'm sure that political science will be a little bit more theory-based. At the same time, I know the colleagues who are teaching economics, and I know they do a lot of exercises and practical applications. I know the colleagues who are teaching sociology, I know that they'd like to do some more innovative teaching, like presentations and group work, and then, role games and things like that. So it really depends on the teachers. One thing that I can suggest is that maybe it's a little bit hidden, but on the university website, there are the presentations of the, the programs of the courses. Of the first year courses, there should be already online some programs, so you can have a look. And the programs are pretty much detailed, so that they will give you an understanding of what will be taught during the courses.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, next question. That is from Sonia. Please tell me more about the admission test. How can I prepare, and what should I study for it?
Well, for international students, we don't have an admissions test for criminology. As I said, we look at your background, your English profile, English proficiency, your motivation letter. So I think one of the most important advice I can give you is to prepare your motivation letter in a way that we'd say, wow, this is a very motivated student. So, and of course, you can go ahead and check the general entry requirements and the specific entry requirements, because we also have some specific entry requirements for students holding particular diplomas, such as the American diploma, the Canadian diploma, the IB diploma. So do go ahead and have a look at them, but you do not have to take any entrance exam.
Okay, great, thank you. Question from Emilia. Is there a way to combine a criminology program with some sort of financial or economic study from UniCat? What do you suggest?
Well, I'd say that Professor Calderoni also explained very well that you get a blend of many classes and many programs at the same time. So I think you can do it, and you will do it per se as part of the course, but I will let Professor Calderoni add if he wants to do that.
Yeah, just 2 notes. I think recently the Italian system allowed to pursue double degrees at the bachelor or master level. At the same time, I'd like to be very honest, we designed this program to be quite a full-time program. So combining will probably, Emilia, I'm sure you are a superstar student, but pay attention, the workload will be fair enough. So I think we are, I mentioned why we are ambitious in our training objective. We want to give you in 3 years a broad understanding, but also a deep dive into criminology, and also very strong preparation in data analysis. I think for 3 years, it's pretty a lot. But then, I mean, if you're interested also in expanding into the economic and financial studies, you should probably contact the offices for a double degree. Let me just add, Julia, maybe we didn't say that by law, students have up to 18 credits they can choose among courses of their own free will. So basically, it's 10% of the credits, basically, that the students can decide to take any course. And for example, so Emilia, if you're interested in some additional economics training, probably you can use those 18 credits to choose some courses in economics.
Okay, thank you. Next question for Marilyn. After the undergraduate, is there an extension of the visa?
Yeah, we usually can extend the visa for either you enroll in another program, so you choose to continue your studies, and then the visa and the permesso di soggiorno, which is the card that gives you the permission to stay in Italy as a student, gets renovated. So that's the easiest way. Or you can transform it into a job-seeking permit. We can go deeper in the topic if you want. Just shoot us an email, because it's a really, really long process. It's a long answer, I would say. But yes, there are possibilities to extend your student visa if you extend your period of study, if you enroll in a new program, or if you choose to stay in Italy and look for a job. We can give you more information once you email us with the question.
Okay, thank you. Next question, Surashimi. Can you elaborate on the hostel or dorm facilities or the cost of being on campus?
So unfortunately, we're not an American university, so we don't have a campus with dorms in it. We have some dorms which belong to Educat. So again, I would suggest going to Educat. Unfortunately, we are not able to offer accommodation for all of the students, of the international students who want to come study here. We do offer some, and usually the best way to get one of those dorms is to apply super early, and to also apply for the dorms, because there is an application process for that as well. So what I would suggest is to go have a deeper look at the educat.eu website, which I mentioned before, because Educat is our, I would say, institution for student services, and that covers everything related to studying in Cattolica. Cafeterias, dorms, scholarships, everything related to student services is covered by them and is their domain.
Okay, thank you. So I saw some more questions about scholarships and alike, so do check that out. There you should find more information. And again, also in the link that is provided in the app section, if you go there at the bottom, you find a section should be called handouts. Yeah, handouts, and that's where you find the link to the admission and tuition. I actually put it on screen right now, so let me do that. There you go. Now make it easier for everyone. It's right there on the screen. Just click on that, and you can find more information about other parts of the program as well, the course overview and everything else. All right, going down to the last questions. We had a question from, let me see, I wanted to have that one. Yeah, so Surashimi will ask, who can I connect with regarding my application? Further questions? Well, there is the email. I think that's where they can contact, right?
Yep. If you have
So
not yet applied, international.inquiry. If you have applied already, international.admissions.
That's the one. And we had the question from Matea. How many spots are in the criminology program, and when do you find out if you've been accepted?
Okay, I don't remember how many spots we have by heart, but I would say 30 for international students. And I think the class itself is quite small right now. So we don't really have a big classroom, which is I think a huge privilege. Okay, 20. Thank you for the help, Fede. So we have 20 spots for international students out of the whole class, and they also. What was the other part of the question? Sorry, I didn't hear that.
And when do you find out if you have been accepted?
Okay. Yeah, nice. So for applications who you will send by the first deadline, so 26th of February, you will find out if you have been admitted from 4 to 6 weeks later. So the 26th of February is the deadline, and 4 to 6 weeks later, you will receive a feedback. You might get it earlier if you're very brilliant, and it's one of the if you are one of the students we can't really miss, you might, but generally it would be 4 to 6 weeks.
Perfect. All right, thank you. And next question from Surashmi. Could you explain the motivation letter for international students? He's just mentioning he's from
Sure.
India and he's unaware of it. So can you be explaining that a little bit more?
Yeah, absolutely. So the motivation letter is a letter that you write, of course, in which you have to talk about what motivates you to apply for a program. So what motivates you to come to Italy? What motivates you to study criminology in Italy? Why do you feel like this program is the right fit for you? It's the right place for you to be. So you tell us a little bit more about yourself and how you got to the realization that you actually like this particular subject area and why you like it. We also have a template on our admissions page. So if you are not quite sure where to start, we have a template on our admissions page that you can refer to. We have them for all our undergraduate degree programs. So that's absolutely something that you can go through.
Perfect. Okay. And checking if there are any other questions. We're getting thumbs up, so that's already good. Well, Fernanda is mentioning about the motivation letter. If it is like a personal statement.
It's kind of like it, but it's not quite like it in the sense that the personal statement, of course, gives the recruiter or the admission officer an idea of who you are. We also want to know why you want to study this particular program. So you can start from a personal statement if you have one, but try going deeper in why you like what you want to be studying when you come here to study criminology.
Okay. Thank you. I hope that also helps Fernanda and others that were wondering about this. So those were the main questions we've received. So if you still have a personal question that maybe is only concerning your situation, or you want to know if you're eligible, if you can apply, do by all means contact the email on the screen.
Yep.
There you see international.inquiry@unicat.it. And then I guess Julia's team will get back to you.
Yep.
So I think those were the questions we've received as mentioned. If there's any last one, I can still take it. Otherwise, I'd like to mention that, a couple of things. First of all, we have recorded this session. So if you missed anything, you joined late, or you want to share it, we will send you all the recording right after this session. So you have the link. Actually, if you join late, you can just stay on. Just stay, and then within 2 minutes, it will restart. Another thing, so regarding the polling. So if you have to leave, or before you leave, I would like to say, please do let us know your feedback from the polling questions. I have one last one just coming up right now. But before that, let me check. There are any questions? Nope, that's it. So I think we're good to go. So I have a last question that I wanted to know, and that is basically how we did. How did you feel we did? So now you can grade the teacher. How about that? Let us know if you felt this session was meeting your expectations. Just for us to know a little bit more, and also to let us know what you'd like to see improved, or like I said in the polling, we asked you what you'd like to hear more about. So what you're looking for, so you can also answer it there. Good. Well, thank you very much. I'd like to thank both of you, Julia and Francesco. It
You're
was
welcome.
very
Thank you.
informative and very engaging as well. So great to see that. Thank you. And of course, the audience, everyone, thanks a lot. Maybe last words from one of you, Julia or Francisco, towards them, rather than from me.
Well, I would say please let us know if you have any questions and go ahead and look at the website really thoroughly, because we invest a lot of time writing and rewriting, revisiting the website so that it is the most updated source of information. If you don't find anything related to your specific case, please do write us an email. We are really happy to receive emails and answering from you.
And from my side, just a couple of words. Well, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to us. I really look forward to meeting some of you in person and to receive your applications. I really think this is I'm excited about this new adventure, this new undergraduate program we're launching for the reasons I mentioned at the beginning. So this is a very new program for continental Europe. I think maybe I'm too much, but I think we're making somehow the kind of history of criminology worldwide with this little step. And I hope you will be part of this little step that we are trying to promote for the discipline. And I'm sure you will enjoy this part of your training with us. So let's be in touch.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.